Hi, my name is Alex, and this is Travel TitBits, episode 3. Today I wanted to talk about airline tickets to start with. In the good old days, airline tickets were paper based, and in the 1960s, you had a piece of paper for every sector of the journey you made. I found an old one recently for the three of us travelling from Gatwick to Naples. And so the actual check-in process was quite a thing really, because you handed over your passport and your tickets, and you watched the check-in desk people rip out bits of paper. So it was quite interesting. The particular route to Naples is interesting because on a much later flight, or in the 1990s, I flew with British Airways to Naples, and the approach to Naples on certain days requires you to approach over the mountains, some of which are active volcanoes, and that's the only time in a jet that I've experienced a 3,000 feet drop. And it was a little bit unnerving because you don't really expect this to happen in a jet. And it also affected the pilot's ability to land. Not land, but we did hit the ground very hard. To which the pilot came back in a very British way, that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Naples. We have definitely landed. I reckon they tested the tyres after that journey. On the occasion I'm talking about, the tickets, that was with an airline called Alitalia. We always make jokes about things that are Italian because they say about their cars that brakes are an optional extra. And on a Alitalia flight back to London, it was a little bit like that, because it was a windy night, it was raining, and it was a nighttime arrival. And we could tell we were bobbing around a bit. And we did sort of touch the wrong way before the pilots obviously decided that it was a little bit too windy and we were going to go around. Some of the passengers were a little unnerved, but these days it's a fairly normal thing in a situation like that. And it's the only time in all the years I've been flying that I've actually experienced a go around. So it is quite rare. But it did amuse me that on touching the runway the first time, it must have been a suitably forceful landing, because the pilot's door burst open at the same time, and all we could hear in the cabin was two pilots exchanging views on what they should be doing next in very fast Italian. So, yeah, little things like that you remember. Talking about can you land an aircraft on a small runway, I once travelled British Airways jumbo jet to the island of St. Lucia, and I didn't really think about, well, where are we going to land? I just assumed there'd be an airport on St. Lucia. And as we came in for the approach, someone mentioned, oh, look, there's St. Lucia. And we were basically doing a circuit of the island as part of the approach. But when I looked at this island, all I could see was an island covered completely in jungle. So I was intrigued as to where we were going to land. But fortunately, there is an airport at one end of the island. Interestingly, though, it has sea on 3 sides. It's not a particularly long runway in the grand scheme of things, but just long enough to land a jumbo on it. Which, yeah, is quite interesting. It's also a very small airport. It's interesting considering the number of passengers you can get on a jumbo jet. There can't be too many flights that arrive on this island simultaneously. In fact, as we disembarked, another jumbo jet came in, and that was pretty much it. There wasn't room for anything else. A week later, when it was time to go, the jumbo used the entire length of the runway, and it had to go to the far end and do a U-turn and do a standing start. So no sooner had we lifted off, and we were over the sea. So I think only experienced pilots are allowed to go to St. Lucia. So there's a few interesting tidbits that I thought of sharing with you today. See you next time.